For me, it's been a real learning process in the past few years. It's been a learning process for me in the school. I feel woefully inadequate at times, sitting up here with these folks and listening to past speakers. So, being a new school, we have no traditions, and that's very exciting for us. We're building from the ground up, literally. It's very exciting and a very challenging opportunity for us. We have a lot to learn as a school, as a student body, and we've kind of been going through things on a trial and error basis so far. I've narrowed it down to just a few things that we've worked on so far, and probably for a lot of you, these things will seem like no-brainers to you folks, but we're trying to implement them into our school. One of the first things that we did is a group of us approached our school's board of directors and asked that sustainability be implemented into the school's mission statement, core values, and philosophy. And you heard a little bit of that in the introduction from Leslie. And our board of directors unanimously approved our recommendations for implementing sustainability tenets into our school's mission statement. And what that allows us to do, obviously, is just as we grow as a school and move forward, it gives the rest of us a little bit of a foothold with which to step. And as we grow and develop our campus, we can come back to the board and say, hey, look, there's this little thing called sustainability in our mission statement. When we're building this new building, what sort of things are you going to implement in the building that make it environmentally friendly, eco-effective? So definitely our school mission statement implementing sustainability, so that's been very important. Key partnerships as well. We formed some key partnerships with Kabakalau Farms over on the west side, organically managed farming facility. The Hui watershed staff. Already our students have been working with them, and Megan Webster, the Maui Stewardship Coordinator over there. And as Leslie alluded to, we've been working very closely with a group called the Center for Eco-Literacy based out of Berkeley, California, and they specialize in implementing sustainability initiatives within school communities. Their website is ecoliteracy.org, and it is full of resources, essays, interviews, all focused on implementing sustainability within a school community. They largely focus on school gardens and implementing sustainable food into the dining hall program. The probably last recommendation that we've been going through, at least, is reaching for the low-lying fruits. Obviously, energy reduction, we're starting recycling programs, things like that the students can really grasp. Make it easy for the students. They're getting their hands dirty. Makes it easy for them to see and to see the impact that they're having. So those are probably the three things that we've been focusing on so far, and that are allowing us to make big steps moving forward. So implementing sustainability into our school mission statement, forming key partnerships, and reaching for the low-lying fruits.
Thank you very much. Our next panel is Andrew Carson, and Andrew's for the home team here at Maui Community College, who's hosting us today. He's actually an instructor here in the Construction Academy. But the Construction Academy doesn't just reside on campus, it has a strong outreach into our high schools as well. So he's here to share about that outreach. He also has an environmental studies degree, making him uniquely positioned for this panel as well. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. Good morning and aloha. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank Alex and the other folks here at the Sustainable Living Institute of Maui for all their hard work in putting this together. It's really a great venue. I'd like to talk to you today about Maui Community College and the Construction Academy. That's what I'm a part of. The Construction Academy is a statewide program with funding from the state legislature and in partnership with the Hawaii Department of Education. The program's in its third year and is active in all 7 high schools in Maui County. The Construction Academy provides instructors, computers, tools, and building materials to all the high schools to support the program. travel to each school in Maui County up to 3 times per week. We teach professional construction skills in lieu of a traditional woodshop curriculum. We partner with a high school teacher in the high school so that the students get a more thorough and in-depth knowledge and understanding of the subject. Last year, we did some community-based projects. Maui High School and Lahaina Luna built playhouses and picnic tables for some preschools and for Maui Economic Opportunity. King Kaulike High School built 12 benches for Maui County parks. Some of the other classes have done structures on their own high school campuses. Particularly in Hana, I work in partnership with Rick Ruitz and the Hana Building Program. We've been able to make a big difference there in the lives of a lot of local people out in Hana. And it's been my privilege to work there in Hana, and I just want to thank you for that opportunity, Rick. Many of our projects will continue and expand this year. We have some potential projects that we're going to be approaching the National Park Service, the Hawaii State Parks, the Hawaii State Forestry Department, and Habitat for Humanity. The Construction Academy was originally taught with conventional building methods, but now we're partnering with Maui Community College Sustainable Construction Technology Program to integrate the United States Green Building Council's LEED Green Building Rating System into our curriculum. The LEED program, which is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, is just a rating system which qualifies construction projects as green buildings by evaluating environmental performance. There are 5 primary categories: that's sustainable sites, water efficiency, energy and atmosphere, materials and resources, and indoor environmental quality. There's a distinct shortage of LEED certified projects on Maui, despite the fact that the program has been in existence for almost 10 years. Some believe the scarcity of LEED projects is caused by Hawaii's inherent shortage of locally available building materials. Although this is a consideration, the LEED rating system has intentional flexibility that allows for such factors and provides alternatives such as recycled or salvaged materials. I think the actual obstacle to a lot of the LEED projects going on in this island is just a lack of vision and initiative. The Maui Community College Construction Academy is actively working toward changing this situation. Some of the things we do, we emphasize proper design, which is more adapted to the tropical environment. For example, natural shading and ventilation, which reduces the need for air conditioning. We introduce innovative and sustainable materials like bamboo and other alternative building products. We have sustainably managed buildings and building materials, and we introduce the Forestry Stewardship Council's rating system. We talk about energy usage and the substitution of renewable energy sources, both in construction and in finished product. We talk about the hazards of construction chemicals, the advantages of alternative projects, and the economic advantages of green building. Recently, I was walking across campus and I heard a student call my name. It turned out to be a former student from one of my high school classes who was enrolling in Maui Community College. He told me he would not be attending college, but during our conversation revealed that the building and construction program had changed his mind. It's not uncommon to have such a turnaround in our students, and frequently the students in our classes are those who are challenged by traditional academics, but who excel in applied learning environment. I think the greatest example of sustainability is perhaps giving someone self-esteem and confidence in themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. That is inspiring. Provide a very nice segue to the panelists next to you, and that is Rick Ruitz. Rick is the director of a nonprofit entitled Makahana Ka'ike. It is the Hana School Building Program, and it is for the last 8 years. It has great successes in teaching hands-on building skills to at-risk youth. The aim is to renew their self-esteem and to lead them towards a promising future. Perhaps his most successful program that really talks about the values that are so important to our community is that his students have been helping kumu and helping elders and their kakuna in their community by refurbishing their homes and using their construction tools. So thank you very much, Rick, for being with us, and I'd like to hear your shared wisdom.
Aloha. Can you hear all right? Gentlemen in the first row, what's the cosine of 78 degrees? No, serious, what is it? Hey, one party in Lahaina tomorrow night. I saw some chicks over there. Really nice. Wanna go? We take my macho truck from Hana. 100 miles one way, 100 miles the other way. Come back. My macho truck gets 8 miles a gallon. Gas costs $5.29 in Hana per gallon. Do the math. $125 to go to the party. That's your math class. What about the family's electric bill? Bring it in. How much are you paying? What percentage of that electric bill is your family income? What do your mom and dad bring home? And how much are they paying for electricity? How much does a dryer take to run? How many incandescent bulbs, or put it the other way, how many low energy bulbs matches one incandescent bulb? Okay, these questions are what's going to help our youth into sustainability. How does solar work? But not only how does it work, how do you install it? The families in Hana, they don't call up the electrician. They don't have the money to do that. So we learn to install the units. We learn to understand them, to test them, to monitor them, to make a graph on them. Uncle Kimo and Auntie have 11 kids. Uncle Kimo's janitor at the school, Auntie's works laundry at the hotel. They need solar. They need hot water. They need help on their electric bill. Well, guess what? I get the tax rebates. They don't. They don't pay a positive tax benefit. So, what about civics class? Why can't Uncle Kimo get the same help that I do? Why am I being subsidized by his money? Why don't our low-income families get the use of the solar tax credits? Science. Hey boy, that OPE is too small. Uncle always told me, you don't pick it because you come back tomorrow, there's going to be no more OPE. Okay, what do you do on that when the Oahu boys come over on the super ferry for the 3-day weekend in their big truck and they scoop up everything because they sell it for $100 a gallon? They don't care what's on the rock. How long does it take that rock to rejuvenate itself? How long does it take? Government class. How do we protect our Aina? How do we protect our refrigerators? How do we protect our mountains, our ocean, our fisheries? History versus future. Maybe study a little future instead of just history. Housing in Hana. We need housing, but what does that housing look like? Does it look like the same subdivision that we have that doesn't work, that's got 4 generations under one roof and not enough room for trees? Or do we go after something bigger and better, a different paradigm, a different model, where we have Ohana living with Ohana living in different structures, and we have trees planted on the land, and we grow our own food. And I just got the book, so maybe I can continue later, ask me questions. But I'd like you to all think in those terms.
Kabakalau, thank you so much for being here. She is a native Hawaiian educator, a researcher, a composer, a native practitioner, and an expert in Hawaiian language, culture, and history. She is the co-founder and president of the Kanu o Ka'aina Maika Ohana, also known as Kalo. And my daughter's best friend is a student there, K-12, and so I know firsthand about some incredible progressive work technology with culture, new future with past revered lessons. She also stems from remarkable work in developing pedagogy and curriculum of aloha over the last decade, which integrates the new 3 R's in education: relations, relevance, and rigor. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I've been a public school teacher for the last 20 plus years, and the thing, I'm teaching Hawaiian language, culture, traditions. I had mostly Hawaiian students, and my students have always been brilliant, but when you looked at their report cards, that was not really reflected on that piece of paper. And so when we asked them, what is it that they need? They needed to have relations with the people that taught them. And remember this morning we talked about I don't care? That's the sad part, that the kids that are in our Hawaiian focused charter schools, and we have over 2,000 right now, attending 12 Hawaiian focused charter schools on 3 islands, the number one thing that they say was missing in their public school education was that somebody cared for them. So I think that relation is the number one important ingredient, and that really means that the people that are teaching the kids need to be people that really demonstrate that aloha on a daily basis and are part of a ohana rather than part of a system. The second part, I think, is what Rick was talking about, is that relevance. Relevance is so important. If it doesn't make any sense why you're learning something, why should you learn it? And so for us to have made education relevant has automatically led to academic rigor. We have over 90% Hawaiians, and we're in good standing unconditional. When we transitioned from a school within a school to Hawaii's first Hawaiian-focused charter school, our science teacher pitied us because we couldn't do science since we didn't have a laboratory. But our students are working side by side with Bishop Museum scientists, with aquatic resources scientists in Waikiki Valley, looking at 100% stream restoration, the first time ever that 100% of a native stream has come back to the environment, and they're looking at a longitudinal study as to the impact of this restoration on the native fauna and flora. And the exciting piece is, when our water comes back again, when our culture thrives again, our native species, whether it's the animals, in this case the o'ohu, and Ohio, and Hi'iwai, etc., they begin to thrive again, and so do we as a people. And so really making education relevant for us has been of utmost importance. We believe in Makahana thinking, through work comes knowledge, and so what we basically have created is a learning ohana. We have a 0 to 5 early childhood program, we have a K-12 charter school, we have a Center for Higher Learning where we provide teacher training, because you cannot really do this without being trained. And so we have the first alternative teacher licensing program that teaches the way we want the teachers to teach our students. And so we've created this move-to-tool project that the kids are intricately involved at all levels. I mentioned earlier that one of the projects is a living machine, so that the kids are creating this constructed wetland, because this is the first time ever in Hawaii we have become Kamwela, Waimea we call it, on the outside is Kamwela, where the plants are going to be very different, and we need to recycle the water through this constructed wetland compared to Eva or other places in Hawaii that already have these living machines. But it's the kids that are figuring this out. We have students that are looking at waste audits. Our kindergarten to second grade, we have multi-age groupings. They did a waste audit, and one of our major wastes at the school level was milk. And so they said, well, what can we do with this milk? Well, Cynthia took that as their senior project, and they created milk paint, which was around everywhere prior to latex being introduced. And so now they were creating milk paint in our first building. It's going to be parts of those walls are going to be painted with milk paint, which we added olena, a Hawaiian dye that we've always used for centuries already, to give it the Hawaiian piece of the functionality and the usability. So we're trying to be living, we're trying to live sustainability, both on the food aspects of it. Our students are propagating their own foods. We hope that in within 2 or 3 years at our big campus, we will be completely self-sufficient as far as food is concerned. And in our Waipio Outdoor Learning Lab, where besides looking at the stream restoration, they're also growing taro, ulu, sweet potato, and other types of native plants. we're almost 80% already self-sufficient. I can feed people coming down to my field on $3, or I can sustain them on $3 a day, and that's mostly for the toilet paper and for the gas and the generator and the fuel and things. And once our solar gets up there, it's going to become even less than that. And I think those are the things that are possible if we work together as a people. The recycling efforts are little by little, but at this point in time, the majority, not just of our construction waste, but also the regular waste at the school level and at the organizational level are being recycled. For example, paper was our second most waste, and so the kids are creating papercrete, which is a form of concrete, and they're using it to create stepping stones so that between our native gardens and the functional use of the plants that we have throughout our 30-acre site up in Kabakalau, there'll be these papercrete stepping stones. So we really believe that if we work together, and if our communities become living, learning laboratories, that we can make a difference. For us, it's about strive to reach the highest level. That's what our Puna has done for thousands of years. If we continue to do that, we can succeed and we can thrive as a native people, but also as an island community.
Thank you. And just as a reminder, we'll go to our next panelist. If you have any questions, please drop those down in the little sheet or any instructor that you have and bring those forward. We'd love to hear your questions. Thank you. Our next panelist is Cynthia Winans-Burns. And Cynthia is the head of school of Montessori School Maui, also known as MOMI. She is responsible as the head of school to supervise, direct, and guide all of MOMI's educational programs in that whole division of the school. And that vision includes integrating sustainability concepts throughout, including curriculum, operations, and down to the landscaping. Cynthia is focused on creating an environment in which adults are welcomed into their community and are at ease to help and share and inspire children for a healthy learning environment. Thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Sometimes I have a quiet voice, so if you can't hear me, wait. Wow. Already you've seen the diversity that is possible in approaching sustainability in education just with the 4 panelists that have already spoken. And it's humbling, and it can be daunting if you're thinking of just stepping into that, whether it's in school or in any aspect of your life, especially when you hear what other people are doing. Our school, Montessori School of Maui, has been at this since 1996. And we have had lots of trials and experiences in the area of sustainability. And I want to just share with you today a few of the little notes I think that might be inspiring and let you know some of what we're doing. We're toddler through middle school at our school. We have 226 students. We have been, when we first started sustainability, like before I was listening to Ryan, we said, sure, I'll do what is that? He was talking about starting sustainability. That's basically what it was for us. I didn't know what Bowling Green was. I had no idea. But I followed a child outside that needed to be outdoors. And I noticed that when he went back indoors, he was calmer and more able to learn. And that was the key. We followed the child. And it is at the center of all the, I believe we all in education hold as our focus and as our stabilizing and centering concept is put the child first. What is in the best interest of the child? And that's where sustainable education really finds its value, is that for society, for our culture, we look to perpetuate and create healthy systems through the education that we provide for our children. So how do we do that? Well, in some ways, we've started at our school with the child. We went outdoors. We started with the garden. And it has led us to look at our operations, the facilities management, every aspect of governance, human resources. How do we create a sustainable community in which every aspect of it is healthy. We were led there from our garden. Somebody else comes to me and says, I don't know what to do. I said, look at the PowerPoint in your system, in your school. Where is the passion right now? It could be in facilities. It could be in, we don't want to use chemical fertilizers anymore on our campus. So start there. From not using chemical fertilizers, it'll lead you to a study on what is a good fertilizer to use. Maybe you start with curriculum, with your science. Maybe you start with any of the things that have been spoken here. The wonderful thing about sustainability is interlinking. It's a living system. It's organic. It grows with the interests and passions of those that are involved. Now, some of the things that we've done in our own school are, we have traditions now. We have our recycling program. So that's something that goes on every year. We also have these wonderful spontaneous opportunities. For instance, with Willy Willy in the crisis that has been on Maui, our students were able to join forces with our moderators, and we saved 30,000 Willy Willy seeds that are now in deep cold over Oahu at the Lion Arboretum, and that was a community effort at our school. That was a one-time thing. It was wonderful. Our middle school and upper elementary students are partnering with the Save Koholave effort. And so that will probably be something that we'll do for a few years. There's other things that we do within the context of the school that continue year after year, and some things that come up and we just do them. So in some ways you need the ability to be adaptable, flexible, and look for opportunities that will give consistency and a solid foundation to your effort, something that you can return to and say, yes. We always put the child first, look at what they're doing. Most of our efforts are led by the children. I want to tell you 5 things that we've done. Our middle school students designed a water catchment system. Now we're using that water to water the plants around the classroom. We did the Willy Willy. We have our recycling center. We have warmeries now that recycle our shredded paper so that we have closed systems. We have a philanthropy club that raises funds to support another nonprofit on the island so that we look at the humans besides the plants and the animals and our relationship with them in our community. And our students created an electric biodiesel car that actually did get going. On the last day of school at the 11th hour, and in the 11th hour because it was 11:59 and it actually got going. But most importantly, there are tons of things that we've done. I think the most important thing is to follow the passion of wherever you are to get started. And from there, it's amazing the beauty and hope that can arise up from the efforts of those in the community. And then education